Hmm. I was watching the news the other day, just, I believe, yesterday or the day before. And the CEO for Lehman Brothers, the late Lehman Brothers, was in front of Congress. I mean, and yeah, the fact that a man who's paid millions of dollars to run a country, that's a Freudian slip. Millions. We're not talking, $40,000 a year or even $80,000 a year. We're talking about one man making 70 million, maybe even at one point 200 million in the week that he lied to the people who had stock in Lehman Brothers that everything's fine, the company's lucrative, blah blah blah. He brought in about $70 million. For him to look right at Congress and say, "I didn't know," and then when they they showed him the memo that was clearly stated that Lehman Brothers was in dire straits. I never saw that memo. A good friend of mine started this morning, we talked about it, and he started singing and dancing. I didn't know, I never got the memo. And I immediately could see Monty Python Flying Circus doing a whole skit. You know how if you're familiar with those guys, how they'll do an office skit. They'll do a routine with a bunch of guys in an office. I can just see them all dancing on the desk. I didn't know, I didn't get the memo. Oh, come on. Let's face it. It is humorous in a way because the stupidity that these guys act upon to even think that people out here are going to believe the lies they're telling. I'm simply, elaborating on the fact that I get very angry about the lies. And yes, I do have my moments, and of course, don't we all? But I have to admit, I'm not afraid to show my feelings. At this point in time, I'm a little amused at the fact that Congress is acting so outraged over these guys. The fact that, what was it? Some of the people from, I don't know, one of those companies they gave a few $1 billion to went on a big old party. Took $500,000, $500,000, and went to Vegas and got their asses screwed and bet a bunch of bucks, I'm sure. This is it. This is what we're looking at. This is what we're facing. No wonder the country is in such deep shit. Come on, guys. Look, we cannot any longer believe them, any of them. Not even those congressmen who are acting out with such outrage. Even their outrage is orchestrated. It's so camp. It's obvious. They're faking the whole thing themselves. I watched the presidential debate, and I have to admit neither one of them impressed me much. Obama allowed himself to be put on the defensive, and John McCain must have said "my friends" more times than I ever heard Richard Nixon say "my fellow Americans." It's like, and for some reason, John McCain just sounded like Peter Lorre to me. I don't know what it was. We can do this. We can. I think I need a dog bone. That was how he came off. And Obama, poor guy. He's a brilliant man. They're both very intelligent men. Neither one of them are stupid. But the only reason I would think they'd be stupid is because they both became politicians. We have to change some things here. We have to face the facts, folks. It's not the way you think it is, and we have to realize that people are greedy. People are greedy. Wouldn't you do that if you got your hands on millions of dollars all of a sudden because you got this job and you rose through the ranks of the nobodies to become somebody, and all of a sudden you're handed all this money? Temptation is great. You see, temptation is great. Humanity, you have to admit, you are weak. We are weak. I don't know. I don't know what I would do. I guess I would probably be just as bad as anyone else. I don't know. You never know till you're there. You know what I mean? You never know. You never know. I don't think anyone really knows. If you've never been there, how could you possibly know? If you've never walked in my shoes, how could you possibly understand what I feel or think? None of us can do that for each other. All we can do is empathize. All we can do is commiserate. All we can do is at least try to understand what we are feeling as a whole, as individuals and as a whole. The lies. The lies are so obvious, and soon it will become obvious to everyone that this is not an amazing race. This is not Big Brother. This is not Survivor. There is no $1 million at the end of the game because there is no game. The only game there is watch your back and stick your hand out. And if you got friends in the government, they'll give you some money. And if you don't, you're screwed. Hang on, folks. The ride is just beginning. And it will be a rough ride. And hopefully you will be able to maintain and not end up like the poor CPO who shot himself and his family in California simply because he no longer had his job and couldn't live in the means that he was used to. People are losing it. Hold on tight. Love each other. Reach out. Don't let anyone tell you different. Don't let anyone convince you that there is something you need to give up, because we've already given way too much up. Hold on to everything you have. Hold on to your children, your life, your house. If you have to stand there in the middle of the door and say, I am not leaving my home, don't. Don't leave your home. Don't give anything up. The time has come to stand for what's rightfully yours. The time has come to see that you are the most important thing there is. Because if you don't take care of you, what do your children have? What do your loved ones have? People love you. Someone loves you. There's always someone who will love you, even if it doesn't seem like it. So remember that. And remember this. No matter how angry I may act and seem, I'm still just like you are. I'm still just as afraid and just as concerned and just as silly and just as humored by how stupid some people can be, thinking that we're going to believe that kind of shit. See you later.
Let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
I'm the dictator. I'm the dictator. I'm the dictator. I'm the dictator.
Fear itself.
I'm the dictator. I'm the dictator. I'm the dictator.
Fear itself.
I'm the dictator. I'm the dictator. I'm the dictator.
Fear itself.
If this were a dictatorship, it'd be a heck of a lot easier. Just so long as I'm the dictator.